Our next presenter is JuliannaSun, who is a fourth-year PhD student in cell and molecular biology within the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology. And Juliana knew that she wanted to study prion disease when she saw the passion of researchers who search for a cure. With her degree, she hopes to become a principal investigator of a lab studying neurodegenerative diseases. Juliana's presentation is Are Zombie Deer Taking Over? Investigating the first cases of chronic wasting disease in Europe.
Our story today begins right here in Fort Collins in the 1960s. Researchers at the Foothills campus noticed some captive deer exhibiting zombie-like behaviors. They would call this new disease chronic wasting disease and soon discover it belongs to a larger group of deadly neurological diseases called prion diseases. The most notable prion disease is mad cow disease, which in the 1980s resulted in the deaths of 177 people in the UK when they ate infected meat from cows. So back in Fort Collins, researchers immediately started to discern whether the same could happen with infected deer meat. So far, there's no evidence of chronic wasting disease infecting humans. There is, however, a lot of concern regarding the rapidity of disease spread. Cases in deer, elk, and moose have now been found across 26 states, Canada, and most recently, regions of Northern Europe. Specifically, Norway, Sweden, and Finland have reported cases in reindeer, red deer, and moose just in the past 5 years. This begs two questions. How did chronic wasting disease end up in Europe, and could it be changing to infect humans living there? Now, what makes prion diseases especially unique is the infectious particle that causes disease is a protein. All other infectious diseases are caused by a bacteria or a virus. We can think of proteins as the building blocks of our cells. In order for our cells to be functioning properly, our proteins need to be folded up properly. So think of taking a piece of origami paper. You could fold it to make a swan, or you could crumple it up into a ball, toss it in the trash. It's the same paper, but it makes two different shapes. This is similar to what happens during prion disease. A protein folds into the wrong shape and it cannot function properly. This misfolded protein is what we call a prion. A prion can then cause other correctly folded proteins to also misfold, and over time this becomes fatal. Different strains of prion disease can be more infectious than others, just like how different strains of viruses can be more deadly. The shape of the prion is what determines how infectious it actually is. So in the lab, we can use molecular techniques to look at the different shapes and characterize the fingerprint of the prion to determine how similar prions are to one another. Our preliminary evidence shows that prions from Northern Europe are not the same as those discovered 50 years ago in Colorado. We know that North American chronic wasting disease does not infect humans, but we cannot say the same for North European chronic wasting disease, given the differences between the two. Deeper investigation into these prions will give us key information about this and bring us closer to a treatment. Thank you.